Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between, welcome to another episode of the Chaps Chat Cats, a part of the Hoops Crew Media Network. My name's Jake, and I'm joined in the virtual studio for what I think now is over the 300th time by the one and only Mr. Johnny Larkin. How are you, John Doe?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Football season's creeping closer each week. Not long to go till
Mhm.
we get to chat about the Mighty Cats a bit more interestingly with games happening. There's not a lot of news happening, not a lot happening down at the Cats, which is good news on our end, I reckon.
Absolutely. No news is good news at this time of the
Absolutely.
year. You don't want to hear about injuries and stuff. We just want
No.
everything humming along as it should be. Um, Under a month until our first match sim of the year against Hawthorn, the Scummers. I think that's February 17th. So on this episode tonight, we're talking about who we want revenge on in 2025. We're talking about the teams maybe that got one over on us last year. Some of them might be obvious. There might be a couple that aren't as obvious, but we're going to talk about the ones that we want Geelong to get revenge on in the 2025 season. We'll talk for the next probably 20 minutes to half an hour here on the public part of the show. Then we're going to go on to Patreon, the Hoops Crew Patreon, and we are going to talk about teams that want revenge on us. So we're flipping the question. We're going to be looking at those teams out there who might have a bit of a bounty on our heads. There's a few after a couple of decades of flogging various sides, Johnny, and delivering
Mhm.
painful finals losses. So there'll be a few to discuss there. And if you want that part of the show, go on over and sign up for a 7-day free trial on the Hoops Crew Patreon. You get extended versions of our podcast. You get VFL men's and women's coverage from me during the season. There's extra bits from Ben and Paul as well. So go on over, start a 7-day free trial. We're trying to hit 50 members, 50 paid Patreon members by the end of the 2025 season. We're currently halfway there. So if you want to help us, we'd absolutely appreciate the heck out of it. Johnny, as always, before we jump into the meat of the show, we have to say a big thank you from the Hoops Crew to our media network sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist. You can visit them at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au. Make sure you spell that with an E, Cook with an E, that is. Phone them up on 035 222 or if you want to make use of a 20% off in-store discount, then go on over and visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Tell them that the Hoops Crew sent you and you will get 20% off your next lovely bunch of flowers with Cyril Cook. We thank them for their sponsorship. It's time, Johnny.
Yes, they do.
It's time to talk about the teams we want revenge on in 2025. So, every year it brings with it an opportunity to look at new, vibrant horizons, limitless, chances down the road. It's a time to feel optimistic, but it's also a
It is.
time to just take out the notebook and remember which grudges we need to hang on to and who needs a big, tasty serving of revenge. So, going to go to you first. First off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh everyone's minds as to what our losses were last season, because I'm assuming we don't want too much revenge on teams we beat. Um, these were our losses. So Geelong only suffered 9 defeats in 2024. We had to wait until round 8 to taste a loss for the first time. So that sparked a run of 4 losses in a row and 6 losses in 7 games. It was the Demons beating us in round 8, 74-66. It was the Power defeating us down at Cardinia Park. I was at that game, 101-95. The Suns demolishing us up in Darwin, 164-100. The Giants in round 11 getting it over us again, 78-74 down at Cardinia Park. Round 13, we travelled up to play the Swans at the SCG, got done 112-82 despite starting strongly in that one. The Blues put a hurt on us, 138-75 at the MCG in round 14 in what I believe was Tom Hawkins' last game. The Cats fronted up to play the Dogs at a mud-drenched Cardinia Park, and the Doggies handily smacked us 95-48 in round 19. Round 23, our last regular season loss of the season, 89-107 to the Saints after we had a bit of an implosion after a strong opening. That was at Marvel. And then our last loss, of course, came in the prelim final in a bit of a classic. If you're a neutral, I think this one probably went down as one of the better games of footy anyone probably watched last season. And even as a Cats fan, I think you got to take your hat off to the Lions. They were resilient all finals campaign. They beat us 95-85 at the MCG. So, Johnny, where do you want to start when it comes to revenge here in 2025? Who is first as your number one target this season?
I'm going to go with the pretty obvious choice, the very last one, prelim final. I think a lot of Cats fans will definitely want, myself included, some revenge opening round against the Lions up at their home ground. Just remind them the Cats are still a force not to be trifled with. Got some new faces coming into the team, new young blood as well, really starting to show their power. So yeah, I reckon that the Cats are, especially Max Holmes. I think he wants a good bit of revenge because both times in prelims he's played the Lions, he's hurt himself. So there's a bit of that as well. So yeah, I think getting revenge for that prelim final is the way to go, and be a good way to start this year, winning up there, opening round. Just make them realize they're not as good as they think they are, especially with that Joe Danaher there. But yeah, that's my first one off the rank. Like, yeah, just getting revenge after a pretty painful prelim final loss. 10 points away from a grand final. It stung a bit, and I think they'll be looking to get a little bit of hurt back on the Lions.
Yeah, it was a, as we said, and it was an epic encounter, but it was pretty devastating. In some ways, like I said, I think I've said, it didn't stick with me as badly as some other games maybe in the past have. But certainly if you just look at it,
It's the principle
it's
of
a
it.
prelim final. Yeah, exactly. It's the principle of it. It's the fact that, Geelong surged into the lead on the back of that. We were, what was it, 12 points down when Logan Morris goaled after 11 minutes, 35 seconds of the final term. The Cats then got the next 2 goals of the game, both to Ollie Henry, to surge into an 84-83 lead. There was only 6 minutes and 13 seconds left in the game at that point. And then we had 2 goals. Calamachi. I mean, I remember being in the lounge room of Sambo's joint with you and Jacko, Johnny, and when Ollie Henry kicked that goal after 23 and a half minutes, we nearly lifted the roof off the place. And then just 90 seconds later, it was a gut punch when Calamachi goaled, and the fact that it was another one just 60 seconds later to Cam Rayner, and that really did put the nail in the coffin. So yeah, it was brutal. I guess it was softened a little bit by the fact that, all of us probably over the course of that final series, I think it's fair to say we've all had some bitter feelings towards the Lions team. They haven't been our favourite side to go up against, not particularly big fans of, Lockie Neal and Fagan and all that sort of stuff. But I do think I grew to respect them and what they were able to do. But yeah, looking back now and just going, geez, we were so close. I agree. And I like your point about Max Holmes too. Big opportunity for him to go out and put a big game on the cards. Are you picking Mitch Duncan for round 0? By the way, I asked Sam this question.
It's a tough one. It's real tough.
Yay or nay,
one.
Johnny? You picking him if it's you?
If it's me, yeah, I would pick him still. He's still got a lot to offer.
The YouTube comments will be going in.
That will be going off, but I think I'll pick him, either put him on the field and sub him out in the third
Mhm.
quarter, or have him as the sub and bring him on as that impact player that can come in, do some impact
Don't
things in the last
don't do
half.
it, Johnny. That's what happened in the grand final. He was the sub and he came on.
Hey,
Yeah.
he's made an
I
impact in the grand final, didn't he?
oh, sorry, not the grand final, the
No, he did. He
prelim.
was in one grand
Um,
final, his first grand final.
true. True. He was immense in that,
Yeah.
yeah, 2011. Look, yeah, anyway, we're probably getting off topic, but I think it's gonna be
It's good
interesting to see
experience.
Duncan.
It's
Yeah. Don't
yeah,
you think it's gonna be
it's
interesting to see Mitch Duncan, like, with an off season? Like, I thought Reece Stanley, one of those older players, really looked cooked midway
mm,
through the year. Then they gave him that rest, and then he came back and looked a lot better. Like, I just wonder,
yeah, definitely.
can Mitch Duncan get some refreshment into his legs and be ready for round zero to contribute? But I think we'll
Yeah.
tell pretty quickly, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
Um,
part of me says, yeah, give him round zero. So see where he's at. If he doesn't perform,
yeah.
he's going to be out of the side pretty quickly. So it's not like we need him in the side. I think it's just one of these things. Why not put him in, see how he's going? He's flying, beautiful. If not, sub him out, get him back up to the fitness
He
and
only
whatnot or whatever.
he only needs the 4 games, I think it is, to get to 300. So I
Yeah.
reckon I reckon he'll be a lock barring fitness for opening round, round 1, round
Yep.
2, and round 4. 2
Yeah.
games at Kardinia Park against the Dockers and D's. The opening round up at the Gabba, and then the game on the road at Marvel against the Saints. I reckon he'll be a lock for all of those, and then from there it'll be a
Yeah.
form, a case of form. Um,
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely. I think I agree with you.
that's the Lions. I agree. I agree, Johnny. And just the fact that we would get to play spoiler to their flag raising ceremony at the Gabba.
Yeah.
That would be delightful. And you can't get them back. You can't get prelims back or finals back that you lose, but hey, wouldn't be
Not
a
any
bad
game
note
that
to
you
start
lose.
the
You
year off.
can't get them back. You can just get a bit of revenge.
Speaking
Hey,
of teams,
at
yeah,
least we beat him in a prelim final by 60 plus points. So we still got that
it's
over
true.
them.
It's true. The next team we're going to talk about, I want to get revenge on the GWS Giants.
Yeah.
This is now becoming more than like an amusing punchline. I mean, a couple of years ago, it phased out of being like an amusing thing to now it just pisses me off. The amount of times they beat us down at Kardinia Park, I'm ready to get back to beating them like they're an expansion team. I'm sick of them. I know everyone's like, oh, they're everyone's second favorite team. Aren't they funny? They're social media. No, I'm just ready to start beating them again. We play them, Johnny, in round 9 at Kardinia Park. And
Yep.
I really, really, really want to get one back on them because you know what else is frustrating? I don't know if this strikes you. They they beat us in these annoying close games down at KP. It's not like they're even destroying us. It's always like, oh, they beat us by 4 points or 6 points or whatever. It drives me nuts. Are you ready to get some payback on the big orange team?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I feel the same way as you. We just can't seem to put them aside and get rid of them. And it's not even like we got a big rivalry with them. Oh, not from my
Mm,
side. I think other fans might have a bit of a rivalry, or they think, or just both teams think there is, but it doesn't feel like it. They're just they're just that annoying little pest that just keeps propping up and stabbing
yeah.
us in the back when we're least expecting it, and then running away, and you can't get rid of them. They just won't go away. Um, and it is really a Toby Green thing as well.
Yeah.
He's the one that just seems to have something against the Cats that he just
He always
plays a
plays
little
well
bit
against
better.
us. That's what's
Yeah,
frustrating.
absolutely. And
I was
yeah,
just
so yeah, I'm totally with you there. I would like to smash him by like 100 plus. Really embarrass them.
that would be lovely. So just having a look since since 2020, so essentially the last 5 years. Um, they beat us at Kardinia Park by 4 points in 2024. They beat us by at Kardinia Park by 7 points in 2023. Now, our flag year, we went up and flogged them on Manuka Oval, 88-35. We beat them in a semi-final in 2021, 103-68. That was over in Perth, bizarrely. But Kardinia Park back in 2021, they beat us 84-65. They beat us 105-73 in round one of 2020. They beat us 79-75 at Kardinia Park in round four of 2019. So, like, from 2019 onwards, they have really had it over
Yep.
us, I guess. So I'm
Yeah.
ready, John. I'm ready to move on from this
Yep.
big orange curse.
Absolutely.
How do you reckon they're going to go this year? Because I know last year they were sort of like
Oh,
everyone was very, very bullish about them. But do you think they can sort of go straight back to like top four and competing, or do you see them sliding back a bit?
it's tough. I could see him sliding
Mm.
back a bit, but I can also see them surging a bit this year. Yeah,
Disappointing exit, like straight
it
sets,
was
weren't they?
very,
Lost to Sydney and then
very
lost to
disappointing.
Brisbane, I think.
Yeah, so I think they've got the power to definitely be back there. It's just, do they have that hunger and the willingness to go forward? And part of me says I think they do. I still think they'll be a threat this year. They'll definitely catch a lot of teams off guard, as they always do. I think teams forget that they are a pretty experienced and well gelled unit. So yeah, it's not one that a lot of teams are gonna. You can't just tick them as a easy victory. They're gonna get a few
Mm.
teams. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're in the top four. I think they make the finals. It's just,
Yeah.
will they be able to make the top four?
A lot of close games for them. Like they
Mm.
had the lowest percentage inside the top eight, 109.1% last year. But scraped in by 2 points over Brisbane in the top four, because Brisbane had a draw instead of a 15th win.
Yep.
So yeah, so that was them last year. All right, Johnny, who's your next team? We're going to do two of these each. So who's that next team? We've had the Lions. That's an obvious one. The Giants, sort of obvious because of the recent history between the two teams, particularly down at KP. But where are you going next for a team you want revenge on?
St Kilda. It's
Why the Saints, John?
just mainly because of Ross Lyon. He's just a prat.
I agree.
He's still just one of those coaches. It's just like, why did you get him back? He's going to do the exact same thing he did to his last time, which was use up your youth, suck them dry, and then when they get too old and useless, he's just going to dump you again and go to another young team and do the same thing. So, yeah, I think the Saints just, I think they made a big mistake getting him back, and it's going to hurt them again this year. And I want to hurt them even more and just smash them. And it's just one of those teams I really hate losing to,
Yeah.
mainly because of Ross Lyon. He's just,
And
there's just something about him. He's just this little turd that you can't flush away. He won't go away. No matter how many times you flush, he just keeps popping back up.
it's true. I can't disagree, John. Yeah, he's a big reason why I would also love to beat the Saints. Geez, we really went to sleep in that round
Mm.
23 game. Geelong, we were cruising up 32-4 early in the second quarter. We're up 38-11. And from there, they blitzed out. What did they get out to at one point? Well, they ended up winning 107-89. So from that point where we're up 38-11, they outscored us 96-56 after that. So yeah, it was not good. And we kicked 2 junk time goals to Jeremy Cameron as
Yeah.
well, to pull it back. So we actually got it even It was even early in the last quarter, and then they kicked 5 consecutive goals to blow it out. So yeah, that was a miserable loss, and they made life miserable for us at Marvel in 2023 as well. I went to
Yeah.
that game. That was again late in the season, and that was just not. Did you go to that one down at Marvel,
Yeah, I
Johnny?
was
It
there
wasn't
with
much
you as
fun.
well.
Ah,
But
terrible,
just a
terrible match.
miserable team to watch.
Yeah, that's true. It's like watching Ross Lyon's Freo teams.
Yeah.
His most interesting team was probably his Saints team of like 2009 to whenever
Yeah.
he nicked off from there. Like they were decent to watch. The last 2 teams he's had, Freo and this Saints team, were just eyesore, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Yeah,
Absolutely.
no.
And still can't win a grand final.
We play them in round 2, Johnny, at
Oh,
Marvel. So big opportunity. We've got a lot of revenge on our plate, John, because we go
we do.
opening round against the Lions at the Gabba, then a home trip against Freo, who will probably want to beat us after we knocked them off over in WA last season, and then
That was
home. Back to Victoria to play the Saints at Marvel. So I like it. All right, this is the last team we'll do on the public show. And this is another team that for a lot of people, it's like, oh, they're our second favorite team. We love them. I think that's changing for a few people, given that the coaching change they've had.
if you're a
I
proper
reckon it's
Cats fan,
starting.
you got no second favorite team. There's Cats,
Is
and then there's
correct.
nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The team I want revenge on, and again, this is definitely driven by the fact I cannot stand their coach. It is the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah.
They gave us a sweaty pantsing up in Darwin last year. It was absolute. That was one of the worst games I think I've ever seen a Geelong team play. Um, just non-competitive for large stretch. It had been a long time um, since I'd seen anyone just stroll in and pile scores up on us. And what's bizarre, we led at quarter time, John. We were up 30 to 27 at quarter time, and then they were up 71 to 38 at halftime. They were up 121 to 55 going into the last quarter. Now we added 7 goals, 3 to get up to 100 ourselves, but they piled on 7 goals, 1 in the last term. So it was just a free flowing. Particularly our back line was just uh,
Just
like a
mess.
turnstile of scores.
Mm.
164 to 100, we lose. I want revenge on the Gold Coast. Didn't like it, John. Really
Nope.
didn't like that loss. And we've
That
got
was a
them
painful
down at
loss.
Kidinia Park. Round
Beautiful.
13, 4:15 in the afternoon, Saturday the 7th of June. We get the Suns
Oh,
down at the
birthday
Cattery.
weekend.
Well, hopefully they keep up their end of the bargain, the Cats, and don't lay a
Hopefully.
turd against the Suns again.
Yeah.
I can't stand them. Terrible uniform. Yeah, coach that I can't stand. It's time to remind them of where they belong, Johnny. Let's put a proper expansion franchise hurt on these bastards.
Exactly. Sounds good.
Same question about not
Yes.
same question about the Giants, but the Suns finished 13th last year. Do they make finals in 2024?
They're a
2025 rather?
team that they should. They absolutely should make finals. They have to. It's basically they need to. They need to make finals this year if they want to have anything good come out of this coach. I don't think they make it. I don't think they make finals this year either. I don't know. They're just such a bad team that just doesn't seem to gel. And when they do seem to
Just not.
gel really well, they can't continue it on. So yeah, it's one of those ones where they on paper they basically need to make finals to have any good thing coming out of the talent they've got, but it's hard to see them making it like every year. It's like this is going to be their year, and then they fail yet again. So I think they fail yet again.
Tell you what, he definitely didn't have his best night. Toby Conway, I think from memory, he centered a ball that led directly to a goal
Yeah.
from but 25 hitouts, 21 disposals, and 11
Not
clearances.
bad.
Toby Conway.
That's
He
pretty
kind of
good.
got overlooked actually in the
Yeah.
wreckage.
It's sort of hard to
Hopefully,
find the gold in the dirt when you get smashed like we did.
yeah, the 164 to 100 defeat. No, I agree.
Mm.
All right, those are the teams that we personally want revenge on this season. We want Brisbane when we take them on in round 0 up at the Gabba. We want to ruin their flag raising. GWS, we want to finally put these nerds back in the locker. It's enough. Stop coming into our house and being bad house guests. It's time to shove them out, John. In round 9 at KP, we've got a chance to do it. Johnny wants to beat the Saints. He hates Ross Lyon. He thinks they're a shitbag team to watch. We played them in round 2 at Marvel. And we also want to... These are the nerds that we need to shove back in the locker, actually. It's Gold Coast. GWS are the unruly house guest that we need to evict. Gold Coast are the nerds that need to go back in the locker. We play them in round 13 at Cardinia Park, so there's the opportunity too. And that is all for the public part of the show. A big, fat chaps thank you to you for listening, for watching, for hitting that subscribe button on your favorite YouTube or Spotify. We also thank you in advance for chucking us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast app. And if you would be so kind and you feel so inclined, start a 7-day free trial over on the Hoops Crew Patreon. We want to hit 50 paid subscribers by the end of 2025. As I said, you get extended versions of our show. You get VFL men's and women's coverage from me. You get extra bits and pieces from Ben and Paul. So go on over, sign up for a 7-day free trial, see what it's all about. You can go and check out the episodes from last year. You can have a look at some of my VFL stuff from last season to see what you'd be getting. And we thank you in advance. All right. Thank you very much. And until next week, when I think we're going to be discussing benchmarks for success for some of our players in 2025. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Oh, I like that one, John. That was a bit different. Go Cats.